Who would you compare Donald Trump to from history?
I have written on this before. I compared him to James K. Vardaman, who was a Mississippi senator and governor in the early 20th century. He rallied the white laboring classes to his side, mainly by denigrating African Americans and by suggesting that African Americans were a danger to the safety and welfare of the white population. And I found this precedent compelling because I really felt here is a person, the candidate, Donald Trump, really focusing on the most vulnerable group in our society, undocumented immigrants, and suggesting that they were the root of our problems and that they must be dealt with. And again, I heard echoes of the past in his candidacy, and I felt compelled to write to that effect.
Trump compares to?
So I like Vardaman. I think that, there is a history in American politics of people who have whipped up crowds on the basis of this kind of, and yes, I think the right word is demagoguery. I think, in 2017, the question that I have for myself is whether we have wound up with Silvio Berlusconi or with Joseph Goebbels. And at the moment, I'm thinking it's going to be more bunga bunga than final solution. I think that Stanley is right in the sense that all of the fears that we have, and I'm full of them, are speculative. You don't actually know what's going to happen, in large part because most of what happens to presidencies are events that have nothing to do with what's going on. That was certainly true, as we all found out in 2001. And so it remains to be seen how much of these fears will be realized. I don't want to kid myself, and I don't want to play Pollyanna.
Who do you think Donald Trump compares to?
Well, I frankly think, Rick, that most of the analogies we try to draw are strained. One of the challenges of Trump for us as a profession is our coin of the realm is precedent, right? Like lawyers, we look for X in the past that's like X in the present. And I think most of the efforts that we've made in that realm for Trump are quite strained. Reagan, no. Nixon, no. Both those figures were highly political figures in the sense that they led profoundly political lives. They held many other electoral offices. They were figures within their respective parties. We have never had a political leader, anything like Donald Trump. I think if you go to other countries, actually we have better analogies. I think Berlusconi, especially because of his background in media industries, to me, that makes a lot more sense. Because he too, as I understand it, didn't have a great, really any formal political affiliation or activity. He was somebody from the world of media and entertainment who just jumped over into politics. We've never had that in this country.
Since I'm sure other people will make the appropriate comparisons with previous U.S. presidents, and many have made the comparison with Hitler, I'm going to go a slightly different route and compare him to not a figure in history, but somebody who is still around, Berlusconi. And I think they match up very well because Berlusconi was sort of the crown prince of politics, made outrageous statements, had sort of very misogynist views towards women. And so there are many similarities. And like Trump, he was very well off financially, and perhaps in his case, really a multi-billionaire, and age-wise roughly similar, or at least in one of Berlusconi's earlier years.
So let me follow that up, because some people have been saying that. What do we learn from that analogy?
We learn from that analogy why people vote for people like that. In the case of Italy, people voted for him because he was seen as a strong man. And people liked the fact that he was a strong man who was incredibly wealthy and made the promise, and never fulfilled it, that he would make others rich, or in our case, make America great again. And so there was that kind of cachet he had because of how successful and how wealthy he was. And so whatever he said never stuck.